Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today, Jessie's going to kick things off with some observations that she's made about today's reading. And afterwards, I'll come back with another study tip and a couple of things that I noticed in these Proverbs as well. So, here's Jessie.
Good morning, Grace Harbor. I hope that you are enjoying your morning. This is day 158, and I am, again, really excited to be talking about Proverbs today. So I hope that you are ready. This is Proverbs 13, 14, and 15. Here we go. We're continuing in the Proverbs of Solomon. If you saw yesterday's video, I'm going to continue the pattern of picking 3 themes and giving an example, and then letting you share your examples in the comments. So in chapter 13, my dad always told me that water rises to its level, meaning be wise in choosing who your friends are and who you allow to speak into your life, because you become like them. I just thought that was my dad's wisdom, and I did not realize that it was scriptural. So chapter 13 verse 20 says, "Whoever walks with the wise becomes wise, but the companion of fools will suffer harm." Have wise companions. In chapter 14, turns out God is actually smarter than I am. Maybe you laugh, but truly, we need that reminder. My way of doing things is why I need Jesus in the first place. God knows better. Verse 12 of chapter 14 says, "There is a way that seems right to a man, but its end is the way to death." And the answer is found in verse 27, where it says, "The fear of the Lord is a fountain of life, that one may turn away from the snares of death." Your way may not be the best way, may not even be a good way. Without Jesus, it will lead to death. But with God, it is a fountain of life. His way is best. Chapter 15, do you ever just do your best and just wish you had the answers? I don't even just want all the answers. I just want to know where's love, or just to know that I'm on the right track to God's approval, or am I doing what's good, what's right? Did you see that in this chapter? Did you see that the answer is there? It says in verse 9 of chapter 15, "The way of the wicked is an abomination to the Lord, but he loves him who pursues righteousness." Chapter 15, 29 through 30 says, "For the Lord is far from the wicked, but he hears the prayers of the righteous. The light of the eyes rejoices the heart, and good news refreshes the bones." I hope you have a great day, and I hope that this encourages you.
Hey, thanks, Jessie, for sharing with us today. I hope you all got some takeaways out of what she shared. Well, as promised, I'm going to use these passages to illustrate yet another study tip for you. Now, it's important to know that all these study tips that we'll be sharing in these videos, well, they don't exclusively apply just to the book of Proverbs. You can use them just about any place where you're reading in your scriptures, especially in places where employing these tools or tips makes sense to do so. Well, in the video on June 6th, I shared with you that this particular section of Proverbs employed a particular poetic device called the couplet. Simply put, that's an expression of 2 ideas, usually by way of a contrast or comparison to communicate a truth principle. I also told you how you can mark some clue words to help you identify these contrasts and comparisons. How you can set up a sheet of paper with the topic and a theme and record what you learned in 2 columns on the page. You can go back to the June 6th video and review those instructions, and you'll find them near the end of the video. An easy one to start on is wisdom versus foolishness. Today, we're going to expand on this a little. We're going to ask ourselves some questions. Now, these questions that we're going to ask is who, what, why, where, when, and how. It's important to note that not every one of these questions is going to apply to every single verse, but it should be fairly obvious where to use some of them. Confused? Well, here's an example of what I'm talking about. In 13:1, for example, a wise son, stop. What kind of son? Answer, a wise one. Hears, stop. What is he doing? Well, he's paying attention to someone or something. His father, stop. Who's he hearing from or listening to? His father. Why? What's he hearing? Instruction. But, now there's that clue word that identifies a contrast or comparison. A scoffer, stop. What's a scoffer? You might have to look that one up. Does not listen, stop. Why won't he listen? To rebuke, stop. And here's where we learn that a scoffer is capable of hearing, he just refuses to listen to rebuke or instruction. In other words, he thinks he's wise unto himself. Anyway, I sort of exaggerated this a bit, but you get the idea. Now I know what you're thinking. David, if I do all of that, I'll never get through reading the Bible in a year. And you know, you might be right. But the real purpose behind learning about these study tips is to help you stop and pause and take in what's being said to you in the scriptures. This is particularly helpful when you're reading through some difficult passages that you find hard to understand and to process. So slow down, take it a little piece at a time, and you'll be surprised what God reveals to you. I also thought it would be a little bit fun to see if you can identify some common sayings or quotes from other people that you may have heard that originate from the book of Proverbs. Proverbs 13:3 says, "Whoever guards his mouth preserves his life. Who opens wide his lips comes to ruin." Samuel Clemens, otherwise known as Mark Twain, used the Proverbs as inspiration for many of his famous quotes. Of course, he said it in his own words this way: "It's better to keep your mouth closed and let people think you a fool than to open it and remove all reasonable doubt." I bet you can think of several others if you put some thought to it. Let me know in the comments if you know of any. Also, consider clicking the like button. This actually does help share our content with people across the internet, and it helps bring people to our channel. As I've mentioned before, doing this one thing just might inspire someone to strengthen their walk with the Lord and read the Word daily. Have a blessed day, folks.